Hey everybody, I'm Jack, and this is Raw Tropical Living. Thanks for joining me today. Well, hope your week's off to a good start. For those in the United States, it's probably going to be a little bit of a short week for you with the Thanksgiving holiday coming up. If you celebrate, if you don't celebrate, much love to you and your family, and spend some time with your family. I want to talk today about the most dangerous raw food diet messages out there, in my opinion. I do videos like this every day, so I'd appreciate it if you would hit that subscribe button now so you can come back and watch more of my content. And when you hit the subscribe, click on that little bell and check send notifications. YouTube is definitely unsubscribing people again, I can tell, and I've watched some videos on this, so do those two little things too. I'm going to start you out with a little quote here. I've heard this quote before. The whole problem with the world is that fools and fanatics are always so sure of themselves and wiser people so full of doubt. Let's go one more time with that. The whole problem with the world is that fools and fanatics are always so sure of themselves and wiser people so full of doubt. This one is attributed to somebody named Leo Wilson, but I've heard this one for a long time and I've seen different people, so your mileage may vary on that. You know, everything, like this is not, there's a lot of science to this diet, there's a lot of science to this lifestyle that I read, that I believe in or whatever, but there's just some people out there that preach the absolute most extreme version of things, and they're so sure. They're so sure. Listen, you can, this is a, like I say, a lot of things I like to talk about on this channel. I think about the videos ahead of time, and I like to share stuff that can be applicable to other things other than just food. And I would say that in life, I've always been very weary. When somebody is just too sure of themselves, you can't tell them anything. They won't even alter their opinion a little bit. You know, no new data can come in. That just always raises question marks, and it just makes me a little bit hesitant to, to believe what they have to say about things. And it's always the people, it seems like, on this raw food diet that preach the most extreme version of it, that are very, you know, raw is law, or we only eat this certain thing, we never eat this, and we never do that. They're so sure about themselves. They're so sure about themselves. And I'm just like, you know, how can you be so sure about yourself on all this stuff? You know, this is not, there's not a whole lot of data that we can go back, or not data, but what am I trying to say? Like, we don't have a large enough group that have done things for a certain number of years that we can make so many bold assertions on certain things. Now, there's certain ways that I lean, but I like to always kind of keep my mind open to the possibilities of new information coming in. Now, as I'm saying this, just so people that may be watching this who might have that extreme mindset, that only hear one side, or they hear extreme, they even filter extreme, like it's either, you're either against raw food or you're for raw food. I'm not saying anything about the raw food diet. I follow a raw food diet. I even claim, even though I eat cooked food from time to time, that I do feel my absolute best when I'm eating fully raw. But yeah, I just see too many bold claims out there. Cooked is poison. You're going to die if you do this and that. When, come on, let's be real. Let's be real. Look at the numbers. I'm always going back to the numbers. What am I think I'm being generous here if I say 5% of the world's population is vegan. I don't even know what minuscule percentage of that 5% is raw vegan. But, you know, we're just, and also too, the reason I consider it a dangerous message, let's say for reasons of argument, that is the truth, that only a raw food diet, only eating 100% raw is the way to go. Well, it's a dangerous message because we kind of, it kind of excludes people. Not necessarily excludes them, maybe that's not the correct word, but it sometimes makes people think, okay, well, if I'm not doing fully raw, then you know, there's so many different levels, and to just kind of throw a plant-based diet under the bus in general, I think we're really doing a disservice. Listen, I'm not saying, if there's anybody out there who's hardcore raw, I'm not saying anything against this message. Let's just try to meet people where they are. And some people are not going to get to raw. Let's try to help them anyway. Let's try to give them ideas on a, you know, cleaner version, a better version of eating cooked food. And then for you cook people out there that are ready to tee off and say, well, they're always stupid, well, continue doing what you're doing. You know, and also too, another dangerous thing is people, like, I see a lot of YouTubers do this, and I've seen people in other social media platforms. They kind of lump everybody together, and it's like, it's almost like their statements are, everybody should be doing this, everybody should be doing that. You know, in 5.5 years on this lifestyle, if you listen, if you use these instead of always talking, you learn a little bit more. And I'm coming to learn that, you know, for various, okay, for instance, people that I agree with how they do things, we're very good friends and whatever, they eat differently than I do because they have specific health issues. And when it comes to specific health issues, your mileage may vary. Somebody with Lyme might do something might eat very differently to detox, to try to heal their body of the Lyme disease. Whereas somebody with cancer might do something different than that. Somebody with this, you know, with an autoimmune disorder, or getting into people with gut disorders, whether it's ulcerative colitis, Crohn's, IBC, what have you, you know, that person, I 100% believe in the way that I eat, but a person with Crohn's, a person with ulcerative colitis can't necessarily eat like I eat. So when we throw everybody has to do this, that's just a very dangerous message in my opinion. If you're new to this lifestyle, one thing I will say is, even though you may not know that much about it, don't be so intimidated, and don't put other people up on pedestals just because they happen to be on YouTube, they have a brand, they have a book out there, or whatever. You know, I was always taught, I guess my old man instilled this in me, that I was just as smart as anybody else, and that other people might have more information than me, but I could process information as well as anybody, and I could figure things out, and I have common sense. So what I would say is, use your common sense and use your intuition. I don't care if you know anything about this lifestyle or not. As you're hearing some of this stuff, especially some of the way out there woo-woo stuff, you know, does it make any sense to you? That's all I'm saying. I mean, you know, you don't have to be an expert in this lifestyle. You don't have to know everything about this to just say, yeah, that just doesn't sound right to me. It just doesn't sound right. Got another quote here that I like, that I was reading this morning, by Darwin, Charles Darwin of all people. Smart guy. Ignorance more frequently begets confidence than does knowledge. It is those who know little, not those who know much, who so positively assert that this or that problem will never be solved by science. It's always the people that are so sure. Now, I think, you know, like I say, we don't, you know, I'm not, somebody will be black and white. I'm not saying we can't be confident in this lifestyle. I was having here's a good way of putting it. I had a long conversation yesterday with Melissa, and we were talking about various stuff. We talked for 2 hours on Skype. And what Melissa and I both kind of agreed on is, you know, who knows? I don't like these. We were both talking about these exaggerations, these big, bold claims. It's going to cure this. It's going to reverse that. All your gray hair is going to go away. You're going to throw away your glasses. We both wear glasses. Now, let me just, here's a good little one to throw in here. I see this one sometimes, and people have responded to me, and I just let it go in one ear. I don't say anything. They talk about this whole, the eyes being healed, and I don't need my glasses anymore. I'm blind. Melissa's blind. I want to see somebody that had the prescription lenses that we had, and I want to see them functioning, and I want to test them in a doctor's office. I want to test their sight. I don't care how many years they've been on this lifestyle. Or, you know, there's just certain things. I mean, but we both came to the conclusion that we don't have to know, we don't have to sit around and do all that. Oh my God, my hair, I got sick, or I got wrinkles, or I got this or that. I still believe this way of eating, the raw food diet, is my best bet. It doesn't make me bulletproof. And now Melissa's done videos talking about that, and she's much better at talking about that, but it's still, you've got to approach this thing with an open mind. A closed mind in anything in life, thinking you know everything, thinking you don't have any more knowledge to take in, is just a dangerous mindset to have. Be like a child. Be like a child. Be curious all the time. Always be taking in new information. Always be open and willing to listen. You can reject. You can reject things. You don't have to accept them, but always be willing to listen, no matter if the viewpoint is against what you currently believe. Because to me, without getting into all the definitions, that's the scientific process, or summed up by me, is being open. You know, we have this set of knowledge, we have this set of facts that we have so far, but especially with the internet, we're getting more and more information. We're getting more and more data each day. So be careful. Be very careful. And I'm being really serious here, and I'm not trying to poke at anybody. I don't have anybody specific in mind. But just in general, with food, with anything in life, be very, very careful of people tell you this is the one true way, this is the only way to do things, this is law, it's black and white, it's this extreme. Because your mileage may vary. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. If you like it, please give me a thumbs up, and I will see you again tomorrow. Love you guys. Peace.